Hey kid, sloppy GWARvember.
Yay! I love GWAR!
You ready to talk some movies, Brennan?
Yeah, okay.
Well, let's go! Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth!
Hi, welcome to the Corrupted Youth Podcast. I'm Dan.
I'm Brennan.
We're a father and son duo that explores the latest blockbusters, classic genre films, and the schlockiest of golden age VHS rental store flicks in spoiler-heavy fashion. And we've got a special treat for y'all this month.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a huge GWAR fan.
You are. We are.
We are. Yeah, well, you are because
you are.
Yes, because I totally corrupted your youth.
Mm-hmm. Hey. Roll credits. That's it. That's all we needed.
Yep, that's it. This podcast is done. Oh, what are you drinking there?
Ice cold beer.
Oh.
No, it's Pepsi.
Yeah, but I am a huge GWAR fan. I have been since high school, and I've obviously passed that down to my children. So for like almost the last 20 years, I've been celebrating GWARvember, which is the entire month of November. Only the general rule is that the only music I can play is GWAR. Now, over the years, it's gotten extremely tough, and it also kind of burns me out on GWAR a little bit to the point where I'm not as enthusiastic to listen to them the other 11 months of the year. So this year is the start of me just going, well, I'm going to do it while maybe I'm driving places or whatever. And I've had it where I can play other things if other people want me to play music.
Mm-hmm.
So I've really loosened up on that in like the last decade.
Which seems a lot more reasonable than only listening to GWAR.
But also at the same time, right now, there's more GWAR music available than there ever has been.
That is very true, yeah.
I mean, especially since they came out with a new album this year. Go out and buy it.
Are you promoting GWAR? I'll promote GWAR.
We are promoting GWAR.
Hear that, sleazy? Free advertisement.
So yeah, it's also my birthday month, and my wife, Brennan's mom, has really been kind of wanting us to do this for a long time for some reason.
Yeah.
And we always kind of put it off, and I kind of didn't want to do it because we do have a no comedy unwritten rule on the podcast where things have dipped into comedy, though.
For sure, yes.
I mean, absolutely. But I would say this does qualify as just a comedy.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Because for all the awful things that are said, none of it, the intent of being just mean-spirited is not there.
Yeah.
And it gets into there's some pretty tough things if you're a little sensitive. So well, I guess we'll just throw that out there too. Not going to be safe for work.
Yeah. No kids allowed. This is the grown-ups talking now. I'm 19. I'm an adult. I can watch it.
That's true too.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of which, this is your first time.
It is.
Having seen it.
Yes.
And my history goes way back. But yeah, so what we are covering is GWAR's 1994 Skulhedface. It's about an hour long.
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube, yeah. Just go check it out on YouTube. Yeah, so interestingly enough, I mean, there's a lot of my history that's going to come out on here more than anything else. But around when I watched this the most is when I was your age.
Mm.
I turned 19, and this is around that time when I was watching it.
Young Dan.
A lot.
Did you have long hair back then? Was that long hair, Dan?
No, not really. I think I had just recently cut it kind of short and was growing it out. And it might have been dyed black at the time.
Nice.
Because my roommate and I were going to start our own horror punk band called Them. Which there already is a band called Them, but
yeah. That's great.
Yeah, you want to know where that went?
Where did it go?
Nowhere.
Nice.
Absolutely nowhere.
Well, seeing as how I have an artist dad and not a punk rock dad, I think I saw that one coming.
Yeah, so as far as IMDb info goes, not a whole lot there.
I can imagine.
Let's just kind of go over it super quick, I guess. There's not an official synopsis for this. Somebody wrote one, but it's probably better written than whatever we're going to explain on here. So we're just going to skip over that. It was directed by Melanie Mandel. I don't know. The writers are Dave Brockie, Don Drakulich, and Hunter Jackson. I guess they're personal slaves of GWAR. So GWAR probably forced them
Right.
to write this because
yeah.
GWAR is for real.
GWAR is real.
GWAR is absolutely real.
This is a documentary, actually.
More or less. It does have the only real notable stars in this, other than GWAR themselves, are Sebastian Bach from the band Skid Row, which I absolutely don't like, and the infamous Jello Biafra from the Dead Kennedys, and much else after that.
But the Skid Row Dongle fans out there are just screaming, "No!"
They probably don't even know this exists. He was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, like Broadway or something. Man, that would just be awful.
That would be awful.
And I think this is just me coming off the top of my head. I think that role was also done by David Hasselhoff.
What?
Yeah. So obviously, much diminishing returns in either direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is also no trailer for this that I'm aware of, and I'm not even going to bother to look one up. So if there is, oops. Yeah, so my history with this is my roommate Guy, that was his actual name.
Guy.
Yeah, it's weird. I know two people named Guy, right?
Yeah.
And they both have the same tattoo and have never met each other.
Weird.
Yeah.
Did you know that there was an original Guy? The reason why we say Guy so much, like, hey,
Uh-huh.
what's up, guys? There was an original Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he tried to blow up British Parliament and failed. And then people just throw celebrations for him.
Guy Fawkes.
Yeah.
Also, November Connection.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know the whole saying, right?
What? What? No, I don't know the saying.
Was it remember the 5th of November? Blah, 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 whatever. It's all
No.
about Guy Fawkes.
No, I grew up in the early 2000s. We didn't talk about Guy Fawkes.
So the guys I know, the literal guys,
Yeah.
each had the word pout tattooed on the inside of their lips. So if they pull it down, it says pout.
What a random tattoo.
Right. It's extremely random, and they did not know each other. They did not even know the other one existed or had that tattoo.
Fascinating.
It's kind of weird. But anyway, first guy I knew, we were roommates at the time. We lived in a house with, I think at one point in time there was 6 of us living in this house.
Jeez.
And I was the only one who did not have a cat.
Oh,
And nobody took care of those cats.
that's tough.
Yeah. It was gross.
I
It
bet.
was extremely gross. I don't recommend
Yeah.
if anyone's thinking of living that lifestyle.
No.
Now you live with what, 3 other guys?
I do, yeah.
Not too bad, is it?
It's great.
You guys are clean, I'm sure.
We clean every Sunday. We deep clean. We have a rotation for it and everything. We're on top of things. I mean, they're all smart UW students, so they're all good kids. We don't have any pets, and if we did, we would treat them right.
Guy and I knew each other from school, and I pretty much knew everybody from school, but he's one of the only real players in this because he owned Skulhedface. He bought it, and it was on constant rotation in our place. Like, we were always watching it. People would come over and we'd be like, you have to watch this. Check this out. And so it was a party favor.
Yeah.
You know, if you came over, you watched it. And eventually, because there was only one TV in our place, which was owned by one of the roommates who we all called him Trog. Okay. And man, he was a Trog. This dude was so bad. I don't even care if he hears this. I don't care. So yeah, he had the one TV, and he eventually just moved it into his room. And Trog never had a job the whole time that we all lived together for a few months. And Trog was getting money from his parents.
Of course.
And he was from way, way up north, like Hurley, Wisconsin, that area.
Far away.
Very far north. And he would disappear all the time to go by his parents. And we would just break into his room and watch TV and play video games on it and whatever. There was also some other dumb things that Trog did that I will not discuss on here. But basically, Trog also did not pay any of the bills he claimed to be paying because we had to give our money to him to pay some bills. And the guy ended up with like an outrageous phone bill and all this other crap. So he was not a very good person. And wouldn't you know it, Skulhedface did disappear. Where did it go? We all assumed it was Trog. Cut to probably about close to 20 years ago, maybe a little less. Let's say 19, because we're working with some 19s here. So a friend and I had a tattoo shop together, and he and his friends had moved down to the area where I was living. It was interesting because I think I had mentioned Trog to him one day, and Brandon was like, "Oh, I know who you're talking about." And they apparently had watched Skulhedface a bunch too.
Oh.
So I started piecing it together, like, wait a second. And come to find out that, yeah, Trog, they knew Trog. And Trog was pulling the same kind of crap to those guys up there. So they had gone to his parents' place, beat him up.
Nice.
Took a bunch of his stuff, and one of the things was the Skulhedface video.
Oh.
So my friend Jeff was in possession of it. And so I had asked if I could get that back and return it to Guy. And it was agreed that, yes, it should go to its rightful owner.
Nice.
So I did return it to Guy.
What was Guy's reaction?
It blew his mind.
I bet.
Because it was the copy.
That's incredible.
Yeah. It's kind of a crazy story.
Yeah, all for this hour-long GWAR movie.
But that's my history with the movie. I do have a copy of it on VHS, unopened. My brother bought it for me.
Ooh, wow. You should get that signed.
No, I'll have to take that shrink wrap off.
Just sign the shrink wrap. That's a cool story.
It is pretty fun.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that years later, I was able to come across it.
Yeah, and Trog, what a character.
Yeah.
Trog
Man.
sounds like a GWAR character.
Ugh, Trog.
Ugh.
Not a cool guy. Don't be a Trog, Dongles.
Yeah.
This is a hard one to kind of go over.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parody commercials. I shouldn't say a lot. There's a couple of them sprinkled in here that very much have like a UHF feel to them.
Yes.
And we'll kind of go over those at the end, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it would be hard. This whole thing's going to be just kind of difficult. I mean, I guess what the basis is, GWAR is for real. Glomco, this evil corporation, who's just any big corporation in the world, USA.
Yeah. What do they do? I don't know.
They just want consumers. That's all they really want. And they have like this international board. I think his name's Boss Glom. That's who Jello Biafra plays. Big fat corporate guy. Just crappy.
Kind of reminded me of the Penguin.
Yeah, he did kind of look like the Penguin.
Yeah.
But their whole plan is GWAR is a pirate TV station, and they're insanely popular because they are the biggest rock and roll band on the planet.
They are, yeah.
And so corporate America really wants to get into that fame and get all those bohabs to buy all their stuff, and they come up with a plan to basically buy GWAR off of their manager, Sleazy P. Martini, which I like the origin that Sleazy tells them of GWAR.
Yeah. It's cool getting to see it.
Yeah. And there's not a whole lot of continuity when it comes to GWAR history, which is perfect for GWAR.
Yeah.
It should just be played.
It's loose. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're constantly, well, we should probably explain GWAR.
Yeah, I suppose. Not many people know GWAR.
GWAR is a metal band. Started up in the 80s. They are for real. So keep that in mind. But there is an excellent documentary if you really want to get into some good history. It's called Let There Be GWAR. It's also a book, but you can watch the documentary on Shudder, and it's very excellent. And I absolutely cried at the end. I'm not ashamed to admit it. But yeah, that gets more into the actual history of the band. But the whole thing is, and they're not a gimmick band. A lot of people view them that way because there's a lot of art performance with what they do. And I like the description in this movie of barbarians from outer space.
Yeah.
I use that whenever I have to tell anybody who does not know.
I've heard you use that, and then I started using that when I do explain it to people. So that's what I also say.
Because people understand that concept.
Yeah.
They kind of get it. I'm like, they're monsters. They're from space, but they dress like in armor and stuff. And the whole thing is they fight monsters and kill people on stage, and squirt blood all over the audience. It's all very rubbery and not realistic looking. You can't take any of it seriously.
And it's so fantastic.
No matter the subject matter, because
yeah, they'll kill about anything.
Yes, they've killed every president. Does not matter. They have no loyalties.
Yeah,
it's a lot about drugs, a lot about sexual misconduct. There's a lot of foul things done to children. Not so much anymore. They've kind of brought him back. Him is the fake rubber child they always bring out as a joke.
Yeah.
Him. Who makes an appearance in this movie.
Does, yeah.
As terrible as it all is, the intent is not there to put these things in a spotlight and say, yeah, this is totally cool.
Yeah.
It's meant to be bad. They're more anti-heroes than anything else. And they're bumbling dummies. They are always on drugs. They're just the worst of us, is what GWAR is.
Uh-huh.
I believe it was once said that the whole point is that GWAR just holds a mirror up to humanity and says, this is what you do. This is how terrible you all are. No matter how great you think you are, type of thing.
Yeah.
And, a lot of pointing out the hypocrisy of religion and war, things like that. So either you're on board and in on the joke, or you're not. And they've had many a protest from religious groups and such about what they do. Their first movie, Phallus in Wonderland, is based on a real incident where the police had taken Odorous Urungus' penis, known as the cuttlefish of Cthulhu.
I've never heard about that.
Yeah, so that was a thing. Like, they got busted at a show and it got confiscated. And so they made a movie loosely based on that because the Morality Squad is against GWAR and they steal the cuttlefish of Cthulhu. We could have watched that one, but that one, like, if you think this one's kind of bad as far as like just not having the best of structure and everything, that one's a little rougher watch. I just have more history with this.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay, Dan here. I'm just interrupting the podcast because I realized that we never really go through the actual members of GWAR properly. I'm just stepping in right now, and I'm going to go over them with you because it's just you and me now, and Dingo, Palomino, Bronco, Colt, and let's not forget,
Kyle on drums.
No, but in all seriousness, let's go through the list. So we have the band's leader and vocalist, Odorous Urungus. For those who aren't familiar, he basically looks like he's got a face of raw hamburger meat in this, and long hair, has some German-style helmet shoulder pads with big spikes, and I do believe that we do mention the cuttlefish of Cthulhu, which is basically a big creature dong with big droopy testicles. Next up, we have Beefcake the Mighty, the bassist. Now, Beefcake the Mighty basically looks like some type of Roman centurion, but beefier, absolutely so. And his helmet is extra large, and instead of, say, like feathers or floof on the top, it's just got like a piece of steel beam and spikes coming off of it. Now we have the rhythm guitarist, Ballsack, the Jaws of Death. Ballsack, he's got like some cool goat legs going on, and then also his head is basically like a big giant bear trap, and he's pretty awesome. Great sense of humor with this guy. Then there's the drummer, Jizmak Dagusha, highly underrated, I think, in the world of drumming because spectacular. But I digress. Jizmak basically has his head inside of a big rotten dog head type of thing going on, and just kind of he's just got like leathery armor with spikes and stuff on it. I mean, he's a drummer. He's got a lot of work to do, so he needs a little more room to maneuver. Flatus Maximus, the lead guitarist, very caveman themed, long dreadlock type hair, red face, definitely some triceratops skulls for shoulder pads, lots of bone themed armor type of things, very cool looking. Then we have Slomenser Hyman. She does do vocals on some songs, but her main thing is she's the token female of the group. The thing is with her, she doesn't take any crap from those boys. On stage, she's known for her work with Breathing Fire, excellent rump shaking, dancing type of maneuverings. Then we have Sexecutioner. He's basically around to occasionally sing his song, named after himself, Sexecutioner. Other than that, he kind of helps the band out when they fight their foes on stage. Then we have their manager, Sleazy P. Martini. I do know that we give a decent explanation of Sleazy P later, so stay tuned for that. And then a minor player in all of this, we have Techno Destructo. He's not really featured in this movie very much, but in the lore of GWAR, he's their nemesis, their foe. His big thing is GWAR must die. And he's sent by the master to kill GWAR, and he's a cyborg. There's been other Destructos over the years, but we don't have to get into that here because we got a podcast to get back to. So that sums it up for the members of GWAR featured in Skulhedface. So, with that said, back to the podcast. Whoa! So yeah, check out a GWAR show.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have you seen them?
Too many to count. I think I've missed one non-festival show in Wisconsin since 2010, maybe earlier than that, maybe 2008.
Jeez.
Not sure. Yeah, so I've seen them a bunch. And I've also gone to see them in Minnesota, Illinois, and
Virginia
at GWARbecue twice. Yeah. I even had my art booth at GWARbecue that one year. That was great. The last awesome. Year that they did one.
Yeah. Glad we got that in. Whew.
Yeah. That was awesome too, by the way. We've gone to GWAR Bar. They have a bar in Richmond, Virginia. Worth checking out. It's not huge, but there's cool GWAR props in there.
And the food is pretty good too.
The food is great.
Get the poutine if you go. Woo.
Yeah, I even ate it naked, drunk, and it was cold in the middle of the night, and it was still good. Now, if that doesn't say...
If that doesn't sell you.
I don't know what will.
Yeah.
Sorry you had to hear that, son.
I don't care.
So yeah, that's who GWAR is.
They're great.
Yeah, they really are. Uh-oh.
Right, robot parts. Falling apart, gotta screw that back on.
Glomco wants to own GWAR. They've got a plan to commercialize GWAR, to make a Saturday morning cartoon show out of them where they're all cute and have flowers and just it looks like happy friend time. Just What did you think about the cartoon?
I love the cartoon. Cartoon is super funny. I kind of wish there was more of it. It was really great. I like the way that they were all drawn, all cutesy, and like that fun. Like it was kind of like almost like a really old anime style. It was really great.
Yeah, and then they've got plushies, and
Yeah.
they're talking about how they're ready. They've got everything set up. They just need GWAR because they can't have GWAR running about after they own GWAR because that's a liability. And I like how they're trying to buy off Sleazy,
Yeah.
and they keep bringing out more and more money. And he's like, no, it's like, GWAR is for real, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to take more than that. Oh, it also has the infamous Sleazy line, his greatest catchphrase of all time. Yeah, I know GWAR. I'm their fucking manager. Like if I've met him and had like a couple posters signed by him, and they always say, "Yeah, I know GWAR."
I love that line.
It's so great. Oh yeah, I missed the. Oh, God, I gotta go back and talk about the origin. Yeah, because he tells the origin of how basically his helicopter crashes in Antarctica, and while he's lost in Antarctica, he stumbles upon a weird fortress or whatever, and inside GWAR is frozen because according to history, GWAR was banished to Earth a long time ago by their creator, who is God, because they're the scumdogs of the universe. They're just meant to go out and do terrible things. But then it kind of like got changed to the master, so I don't know what's what. Doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. It's GWAR.
Yeah, basically banished to Earth millions of years ago. In this, Sleazy P. Martini's disco ball jacket, the light bouncing off it thaws GWAR out, and they go after him, but then he gives them cocaine, and they really enjoy it. So they become loyal to Sleazy, and then Sleazy turns them into a touring band.
That's a businessman right there.
That's right. It's Sleazy P. Martini, in case anybody doesn't know, is ridiculously huge Elvis style hair, like just the biggest pompadour ever, and he wears like a vinyl pimp outfit.
Yeah, he's great.
And has like a really cool pencil mustache.
Suppose he's getting pretty old now, huh?
Huh?
He's probably getting pretty old.
He's still active. He's got like his own YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
And
like,
he like does news stuff. Makes commentary on the news. He'll show movies and stuff.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like a movie. He does movie host stuff. Yeah, he's still active, sculpting and selling art and stuff. But yeah, so he does sign GWAR over, but once he finds out that they want to kill GWAR, he's like, yeah, good luck with that. And GWAR comes in, and we have our first action sequence where GWAR kills everyone in the boardroom.
It's pretty cool. Them all jumping through the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, looks pretty cool.
Yeah, lots of odorous butt.
Yeah. You can tell it's intentional too. There's that one shot of the leader guy, and then you have like Odorous squatting right in front of the camera, both of his cheeks just out, and it's a long take too.
Yeah, and they send in security guards. Like, I mean, you got to keep in mind too, everything in this is micro budget,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of it looks pretty good considering,
Yeah.
like the blood's pretty decent.
The sets are pretty good too.
Yeah, all things considered, like you have to go in knowing it's going to be cheap.
Yeah.
None of this is like pro stuff, and the effects aren't the best. I think this is probably where you kind of notice the most of like the editing feels a little off. Like some things feel like they kind of like are shown a little too long.
Yeah.
It could have been a little tighter. And if I have a complaint about this entire thing, that's probably it. You know what I mean?
That's very fair.
And which I don't know how experienced this director was at the time. I'm sure. I mean, you have a skeleton crew of people pulling this off. Take it for what it is. I've seen worse, but I've also seen, way worse than that.
It just stings because I feel like a lot of the problems could have been fixed in post.
That's true, but probably just lack of experience, that's all.
Or it's just a schlocky fun thing. It isn't supposed to be that all too serious.
It's really not.
Yeah.
You just have fun with it. The gags, like Sexecutioner shoving a gun in a guy's head,
Yeah.
an Uzi in a guy's head, and then it just him with a head shaped like it has an Uzi in it, stuffed in it.
Yeah.
Just dumb things like that.
I liked Ballsack taking a big bite out of the guy, biting his arm off. That was pretty cool.
Oh, the guy who takes all the credit for the woman's ideas at
Yeah.
the board meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stereotyping in this, which is intentional. Just like how corporate America views people, as
Mhm.
demographics. Like the country guy wants to give GWAR a couple country hits. Black guy wants him to add some scratching and some beats.
Yeah.
But yeah, once things get too intense, Boss Glomko decides to yeet out of there. And while he's in the elevator, he freaks out and proceeds to rip off his face in the elevator, revealing that he is the titular Skulhedface, which is funny because there's the size differences between the two are way off, and the head on Skulhedface is ginormous.
Yeah.
It just looks like a big pruny raisin skull. I do like the eyes in it though.
I really like the eyes, and I like the animatronics and stuff, like the eyebrows and stuff. It's really emotive.
It really is for the budget and everything, and it doesn't always sync up, but
Yeah.
it's pretty expressive when it's on point.
Yeah. Same with the mouth. I think the mouth was the biggest issue. Didn't really open very far, and it didn't really sync up with the voice that much.
I wonder if they had problems at some point, because there are a couple scenes where it's working really well.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
And there's lots of good lip movement, revealing the teeth
Yeah.
and stuff. The sound quality of Skulhedface is a little lacking. It's always been like that. Like the DVD ripped to YouTube is probably as good as you're gonna get anyway. But yeah, the sound quality was always kind of poor. It's kind of hard to make stuff out sometimes.
Yeah.
And the vocal effects that they use on Skulhedface distort a little too much at times, depending on what's being said.
But it's okay because it usually doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
What are you in this for, anyways? What are your expectations?
What do you need to hear? What dialogue do you need to hear?
I do feel like there is some stuff that they couldn't get to.
Mm.
Because Skulhedface is also in contact with Cardinal Sin.
Who, if you don't know, is the big bad of GWAR.
Yeah, Cardinal Sin has shown up in some stuff. It's basically like a giant religious nut mecca.
Yeah.
At one point, smashes through a city and whatnot, and if Gorgor fight him. Gorgor is their T-Rex.
Of course. They're giant cyborg T-Rex.
Not at that
Oh,
time.
that was just when Gorgor was straight.
Later on, yeah, there was. We're probably getting into way too much stuff that's gonna
a lot of lore.
a lot of yeah. A lot of these things you could probably just look up and find, honestly.
Yeah.
They hint at stuff which gets explained at the end, but a little explanation of who Cardinal Sin is for anybody who hadn't seen it before might have been nice.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they just didn't get around to it or didn't have the budget to explain it more. But you just know that Skullhead is working for somebody else.
There's a bigger plan.
Yes. There's a whole lot of GWAR than just hanging out. There's sexy cooking, where Sexecutioner is giving weird recipes as they're all hanging out, drinking beer around a table full of body parts. I don't know. I like his apron.
I do too.
I hate housework.
Yeah.
This is where it starts getting a little stilted in here, because you just have your setup and then it's a whole lot of stuff.
I feel like it's a lot of stalling for the final battle.
It kind of is. The ultimate plan of Skulhedface, working for Cardinal Sin, is to steal Gizmoglobin from GWAR. They've been doing it. They do it to Sebastian Bach. It's like stealing the mojo in the Austin Powers movies. You can just take somebody who's cool or whatever, and you can brainwash them into becoming a corporate stiff, and then extract a blue liquid from them called Gizmoglobin, which Skulhedface is using to just shoot up with and getting high on his own supply type of thing. And the whole plan is that when Cardinal Sin invades, he's going to need all that Gizmoglobin to power the Warfleet and stuff. And they're going to get a lot of it from GWAR, apparently. That's the ultimate goal because they've got the most.
They're really cool.
Yep. Hell yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, they are.
Skullhead gets the assistant Flopsy. I can't remember the name of the plan off the top of my head. It was something Porno Plan 1 or something. Sends Flopsy up to lure Beefcake the Mighty, and they start playing patty cake in the elevator, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
I like how that's how it goes. It's like they're going to play patty cake.
Yeah.
Granted, it gets a little more gross later, but yeah, so Beefcake and Flopsy are getting intimate. We should explain that Flopsy has a part of the female anatomy for a face.
Yeah.
And a mouth. So you can imagine that they're
making use.
Yes, they make use of that. Hand stuff. There's hand stuff that happens. It's gross.
It's pretty interesting because Beefcake gets his helmet taken off, which was weird to see him without it.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. I mean, like, because I've seen, like, the current Beefcake. Or is he still the current Beefcake?
Okay. So, no. The Beefcake in this...
Well, I'm saying the Beefcake that I saw, he's still the Beefcake now?
No.
Jeez. I know the Beefcake title gets passed around a lot.
It does. That Beefcake is currently Blowfar.
The Beefcake in the movie
is Blowfar
now.
Yes.
Okay.
And the Beefcake that replaced him has come back and is current Beefcake.
Jeez.
Go down, just look up Wikipedia sometime and look at the members and who played them.
What I was going to say is, I saw Beefcake, no makeup on, no costume on, 2 different times. One at GWARbarbecue with his son, like hanging out with his son.
Oh, that was... I can't even get into it right now. Yeah, that guy, he's long gone.
Oh, geez, that guy's gone. Anyway, but it's just weird to see them in full costume, but like take off the helmet. Stuff like that. That's what really weirds me out.
Oh.
I see them as 2 different people. Like, I can go back and I can meet, Brent. I can say hi, and then see him out on stage and be like, that's pustulous.
Yeah.
They're just 2 different people.
Oh, so you're saying that you view them as 2 different people.
Right.
Like the person who pretends to play a GWAR character and the actual GWAR character.
Yeah.
Because GWAR is for real.
Because GWAR is for real.
Our listeners are going to be so confused. Okay. Family GWAR tree aside. Yeah, to see him take off the helmet was interesting.
Yeah.
During this time, Skullhead reveals their plan and has to sing a song about it. About, it's the soliloquy of Skulhedface. And I'm going to say this, I've never been a big fan of that song.
I don't really like it.
I mean, I guess it makes sense when you watch the movie that, there's a bigger purpose. Because a lot of the times, their albums will have some type of loose story to them sometimes. And generally, they like to have like a song where it's about the villain on the album. On this one, the villain gets their own song. And I feel this is a good point to discuss the album. That's kind of the basis of this. The album This Toilet Earth. And when it came out, it was a follow-up to their album America Must Be Destroyed, which they were nominated for a Grammy.
Which is crazy.
It's crazy to think, yeah, that happened. And I don't blame them for thinking, this is it. We're going to make it big because you're nominated for a Grammy. Yeah. Why would you not think that this is it? And they lost it. And so they said, we'll just make something better. And I feel that This Toilet Earth, while there are some great bops on it, and there are some really good songs on it, as a whole, it feels kind of try hard.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because I've gone back and I've listened to that album a couple of times, and I just don't really go back to it that often. As a whole, like you said, there are good individual songs that you can take off of it. Great individual songs, but...
Oh, yeah.
As a whole...
I mean, Saddam Go-Go is very popular.
Yeah, it's one of their most popular songs.
And I think the thing, too, though, is that this album was also a lot of people's introduction to GWAR because they had become more famous. And so it was more of a in the spotlight type of thing. And
Sure.
it got a lot more popular, like because of Beavis and Butthead, the whole point of the Beavis and Butthead game is that they're going to see GWAR. And, GWAR's in that game.
That's awesome.
And, they make Beavis and Butthead references in this movie. So there's a whole lot of they were kind of out there. They were on the Beavis and Butthead show as a video that they watched. Before that, and this is when I first heard of them, was the show The Idiot Box. It was on MTV, and it was like a sketch comedy thing done by Alex Winter, who from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Okay, yeah.
Because he got into like a lot of directing and writing weird stuff. And they had a bit on there, which was sacrifice your daughter to GWAR or your sister or something like that. I didn't think that it was real at the time. And I remember thinking, if this is real, I need to listen to this band. So I did find them after that. And I was a fan.
Clearly.
Ever since.
Yeah.
And yeah. So their popularity had grown. And I think this is when your mom and her friends knew of GWAR, is because of that album. I mean, I'm sure them coming over to our place and watching Skulhedface and stuff probably didn't hurt either.
Yeah.
And I'd rather convert somebody to be a GWAR fan than convert somebody to Stop the Steal. You know what I mean? Like, there's good things you can do with your influence and bad things.
Yeah.
This Toilet Earth, not the hottest of their albums, I'm gonna say, as a fan. And I'm also not a person who says Scumdogs of the Universe is the best album and everything after that is trash, which there are fans that are like that.
What a boring take.
That was their second album. Is it great? Yes, it's
absolutely.
excellent.
Yeah.
Stands the test of time even, but not my favorite album.
Not their best either.
You don't think so?
No. I mean,
well, I don't think it's their best either because it's not my favorite.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, there's also a difference between picking your favorite and picking what you think to be the best. I think those are very different ideas. But I also agree. I don't think it's not my favorite. I don't think it's their best. I think it's weird to say it's their best. It's their second album.
What do you think is their best?
Their best.
As far as how about just your favorite?
That's even hard. I usually go with Bloody Pit of Horror.
Ooh, excellent choice.
I listened to that one a lot in middle school, like early high school. It's great. I like almost all the tracks on that album. So, and I like how it has a big flow to it. It's a great listen. Like, even if individual songs you don't like as much, as an album listen overall, it is really, really good.
Yeah, it is a good solid play from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Come the Carnivore, I think, slows it down.
Yes.
A little bit, but then after that, that entire album, I think, just explodes.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely some of the more speedier of metal on that.
Yeah.
Like there's some great stuff on that. For me, mine is Lust in Space.
Great album.
Yeah.
Great story too for that one.
Yes, because we didn't mention it on this, but it's great that this does come up. Part of GWAR's point of this is that they're having a telethon where if they get enough souls and feed them to the world maggot, which is a giant maggot-like creature living underneath the earth, if they give it enough souls, it'll have enough energy to break free and go into space because they don't want to be on Earth anymore. They're sick of Earth. And that's always kind of been the thing, is like they're usually too high or whatever to ever achieve success.
Yeah.
But in Lust in Space, they do. They get off of Earth. They go back into outer space. And it's a lot of them just talking about space on that album.
Yeah.
Making songs about weird space stuff. And it's great.
It's so fantastic.
Because I feel that is a very good complimentary album to Scumdogs of the Universe. Only there's some better stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think, just as far as GWAR lore and stuff like that.
And the music is really tight on that album.
Oh, it's so good.
So good.
Absolutely great. I love it. Where are we even?
So
tangents.
We were at the part where Beefcake is brought down into the lair.
Oh, yes. And then Skulhedface does the song, the really long song. And there's a whole lot of people dancing, like historical looking figures and stuff.
Yeah, it's really odd.
I mean, it kind of goes along with the song, I guess, but I guess I never picked up on this before, which is weird considering how many times I've seen it. But they all go behind that curtain. And I just thought it was more like a music video thing. But I didn't realize that there's a thing that happens back there where they all get melded into the flesh column,
Oh,
which explains the flesh column later.
yeah. Huh.
Which I guess we can get to that because GWAR just ends up showing up, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. And they have to fight Skulhedface in the flesh column, which is some type of machine. It's got a shifter on it and stuff, and it's just made up of a bunch of people. Like there's a Viking, there's a army guy, there's a movie star looking lady, just a bunch of people mushed together
Uh-huh.
to make this big tall thing with like weird fleshy arms and a big giant butt that shoots turds out of it.
Yeah. That was really funny. And then Skulhedface on top, of course.
Oh, well, Skulhedface lured him down because stole Beefcake's face, just pinned it on his,
Yeah.
and was like, "Hey guys, I'm down here. Like, there's midgets down here."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, okay." Like, yeah.
Like when they go to use the elevator and the floors are like secret lab, and then it's like second secret lab, and then I forgot what the bottom floor was. It was like orgy something or something like that. And they click that floor, not even like any of the secret labs. They just don't even.
They did get like the fun elevator gags
Yeah.
in there. I like when Odorous is smoking, and Jizmac the Gusher is like, "Do you mind?"
Yeah.
And just the boring waiting and the GWAR music being played as music. And then they fight the flesh god
Yeah.
once they get down there. Beefcake does get his face back. And when they're fighting the flesh column, they've got like this little industrial tune where it's just like a bunch of mixed stuff and samples and stuff. It's pretty cool, actually.
It is really fun.
I remember really liking that when I was younger, and you couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
They did eventually release a lot of that stuff
Well, that's cool.
on hard to find Slaves Gone Wild, where it's just like a lot of stuff, miscellaneous things like that they did, like the Sig of You piano version. A lot of like outtakes of them just farting around in the studio. Good stuff. Don's Bong Is Gone is a fun song. But anyway, yeah, this fight is pretty cool. It looks like that set probably smelled terrible after.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much blood and just they're slipping all over the place.
Probably all sweaty in those costumes, too.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So they just take turns. It's like 2 at a time, fight it. And then there's like a big kind of orifice, teethy thing that like Hitler's head comes out of.
Yeah.
Like almost like a penis.
Yeah.
And squirts fluids all over Odorous and disorients him. And Odorous gets munched on by the big mouth thing and he's taken out. And it's just kind of like picking him off one by one. And there's a couple gags here and there. Flopsy dies from interactions with Beefcake that we mentioned earlier. Hand stuff. It's gross. But also played as tragic.
Yeah, I liked that.
So yeah, like I said, not to be taken seriously.
Uh-huh.
And if it's just not your thing, don't watch it.
Yeah.
Skullhead ends up defeating GWAR.
Yeah.
And then they all end up getting all their gizmoglobin sucked out of them, which has a strange effect.
It does.
Because once it gets extracted from them, Skullhead ends up transcending into her final form.
Yeah.
Who knew? And basically a woman in a space outfit that has like a giant butt head with a butthole on it. GWAR is all now babies.
They're babies.
Which is great, by the way. I
Yeah.
like them as babies.
I like their little costumes.
Yeah, it's pretty adorable.
It
I'm not
is.
gonna lie. Man, those kids probably have kids now.
Yeah.
It's weird to think. Like they're all grown up, have jobs. But I like how they work with like the things that the babies are doing, like crying and stuff, and
Yeah.
like the Sylmenstra one, crying about where are my tits?
Yeah.
And Skullhead having transcended into a higher being, has realized that what she did was wrong. and there's only one thing to do. Because Odorous is like, you seemed like you were pretty cool the way you were, and we could have been friends had you just asked.
Yeah.
And so Skullhead decides to return the Gizmoglobin to GWAR so they can return to their normal selves. And so blue goo shoots out of the butthole on the head. And they all come back, and then Skullhead's looking how Skullhead used to look, only now wearing like some type of sexy dress.
Haha.
And then they all decide to have sex with her.
Yeah.
And tear her to shreds in the process. And that's basically it.
The grand finale.
For that.
Yeah.
The World Maggot, I think that's the last soul that the World Maggot needs. And then the World Maggot escapes. And so GWAR runs out to catch the World Maggot, bringing out all their luggage. So it's just them running through somewhere in Richmond, Virginia. In a field by like a power plant.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And they miss it.
They just watch it fly away. I like, was it Ballsack that pulls out the camera?
Yeah.
Just takes a picture of it flying away.
Yeah. I mean, everybody gets a little bit of their character on display here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess you kind of have to know them, but they don't really do a whole lot. I mean, I guess Beefcake gets a big part. Sexecutioner does with the sexy cooking. Flatus Maximus is just there for fart jokes.
Yeah.
With the weird overdubbed voice.
It was weird.
Yeah. So I did find out a little something too about that.
Trivia.
Mm-hmm. 2 different people played Flatus. None of them were the actual person at the time.
Weird.
The actual Flatus. Because that's when he was recovering from a gunshot wound to the stomach.
What?
Yeah. It's in the documentary. They basically were just driving and like a weird random thing happened on the road. Ended up getting shot.
GWAR, I guess.
Yeah. So not anything that they necessarily did bad. It was just more of a victim of a crime that
How crazy.
almost got killed. Yeah.
Huh.
So in the video for Jack the World, I think it is, which just uses bits from this movie, you can see him with a colostomy bag.
Oh.
Yeah, which I never knew, but it's also in the documentary. Let There Be GWAR. Check it out on Shudder. Come on, I know you dongles have Shudder anyway.
Yeah.
You're watching Joe Bob's Last Drive-In. We all are. Come on. Well, I guess we can talk about the commercials. The
All
parody
right.
commercials in here. Going down the list. The first one that they have is Turtles the Wonder Dog.
I like this one a lot.
Explain Turtles the Wonder Dog.
All right, so Turtles the Wonder Dog is a lot like Lassie from, is the show just named Lassie?
Yeah.
I don't know. I never liked it. But it's like they're the cute family dog that they can talk to, and it's a quick little brief commercial where it's like the parent's kid goes missing. So they're like, Turtle, can you go find whatever the name
Billy.
of the Billy? Go find Billy. Like, is he trapped in a well? And the dog barks and he goes running off and he finds Billy and it's just a mangled corpse. But he still grabs it, brings it back to the parents. And they're just like, oh, Turtle. Like, they're just so happy.
First appearance of him.
What great prop.
It's so cheesy.
Yeah.
This is like a flat pillow. It's just gross. Gnarly. Yeah, that one's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I like that they made Turtles a pit bull.
Uh-huh.
Which we all know pit bulls are very nice dogs.
They're
actually.
great dogs.
Like,
yeah.
all the ones I've ever met are the biggest sweethearts ever.
Any dogs will be evil if they're raised incorrectly.
That's
And-
true.
And that's the problem with a lot of pit bull owners, is that they don't.
Yeah, because it's that stereotype of it's a cool, tough dog.
Yeah. They're just friendly.
Yeah.
They want some pets.
Yeah, they just want some loving.
Yeah.
Sometimes dogs just have bad dispositions. It's like people, though, too. I mean, but no particular dog breed is just mean.
Chihuahuas.
Okay, I take that back.
Yeah. Just chihuahuas.
Anyways, next on our list, and probably my favorite, Lawn Jockey.
This one is like topically funny too. Still, sadly.
Yes, it sadly is, because Lawn Jockey it's like a movie, I guess it's supposed to be. The best way to describe it is how they describe it in there. Find out what happens when a family of white supremacists fires their black maid. I love it. She's just like, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
And then it's like, find out what happens when she's really a voodoo high priestess. So then she's like, it's like her doing some ritual in front of the family's just extremely racist looking lawn jockey. Like they really made it look bad. And then it cuts to like a couple detectives. And I love how the one guy, like he's trying not to laugh. I don't know how many takes they made of this. But he's like, I don't know. It's almost as if they've been bludgeoned to death by this lawn jockey. And it's just a lawn jockey and like the lantern's all bloody.
Yeah.
And it's like, lawn jockey, see him before he sees you. And that's kind of how it's delivered too. Like,
Yeah.
This is very weird.
Super funny.
It's great. I also threw in Sleazy P's charity work.
I loved that bit too.
Yes, because I figured like it's weird because it kind of works into the story slightly, but not really.
Not at all, because it never gets brought up again, but
Yeah. So Sleazy P is like, yeah, like I do charity for GWAR. And so he goes to the Center for Missing and Sexploited Children, which saying that out loud on a podcast is like probably going to get us flagged for something. And none of this in a real life scenario would be funny.
Mm-hmm.
We don't condone any of
None
this.
of it. None of it.
But in this context, it's funny.
Super funny.
So he goes in, and it's like a bunch of uptight, old Betty looking mom types in there. And the one's talking about how it's just like the merger between GWAR and these moms is like such a great thing. And like GWAR could like come help them out because Sleazy gives them a check.
Yeah.
And then two of the GWAR slaves come out, which the GWAR slaves are just like they're henchmen.
Yeah.
That's why it's called Slave Pit TV and everything, because that's just their thing. It's not what you're thinking about slaves. It's totally not that. The fact that I even have to say that feels weird.
Yeah.
It's usually just white dudes in weird diapers.
It's very weird.
And masks.
Yeah. Lots of butt cheeks hanging out.
Lots of butt cheeks.
Yeah.
They basically hook everything up when they're doing their shows.
Which is a great explanation
Mhm.
for their stage show.
Yeah.
It's a good thought they put into that. Because they're real.
Totally real.
Definitely real.
Probably from outer space as well. I don't know.
Likely. They look the part.
Who knows?
Act like it too.
Yeah, so they bring out was the check presented by him? Because this is where him comes out, because they bring out the little tiny coffin and they open it up and they're like, him. And then it's like the lady's like, that's my Bobby. And then they reunite, him comes out and goes over to the mom and just bites her. And then it's got like blood going down the drain and the check's in there. What does Sleazy say? Like because he picks up the check and puts it in his coat pocket, and he's like, "Don't ever let him say I'm a bad guy."
Yeah.
Even though I'm not, or whatever. Yeah.
It was a funny bit.
I did like that one. So that lady, I don't know, her delivery is great.
It is. It's really good.
Next up is More Beer, which starts off as a typical early 90s beer commercial. And they say like, food, fun, babes, tits. And because it's like girls getting sprayed with water and like stripping down to their bikinis while dudes eat hot dogs and they're drinking beer. And then it's like, life's not like that.
Life is lame.
You need alcohol. You need more beer. And I like too, because there's like a throughway through this entire thing of a guy who's just watching the TV. I guess we didn't mention that either.
Yeah.
But
It doesn't matter.
Here's fine. Anyways, he ends up like slicing his wrist and he's like dead on the couch, but his friend comes over and starts watching TV too. And So during this more beer commercial, in the commercial, more guys come into that apartment with more beer.
Yeah.
And they're on the TV while they're watching the TV.
It's really meta. It's awesome.
And then, I really like that commercial. That one's fun
Yeah.
because I don't know. That was very much how commercials were then. just cheesiness of it. So they really nailed that one, and then got to the reality of it, which, yeah. Next up, another good one, I think. There's no real explanation of what's happening. There's just some goofy music and a bunch of kids, like teenage boys running out, and they're doing something, and then they roll out a big like slip and slide type thing, and they masturbate. It's not explicit. It's just more like you know what's happening.
Yeah.
And you see the result. And so they go sliding on it while mom and dad come out and sit in lawn chairs and cheer them on.
Oh, also the slip and slide is the shape of a penis.
Yes. And it's sperm and slide. And the parents get splashed with it and they're all like, yeah. That one is super funny.
Just super, super funny. Great gross out humor.
Yeah. That's it. It's hard to follow that up, I guess.
Yeah.
How do you go from sperm and slide to anything else other than I guess how we say movie to rate it and whether or not we'd recommend, unless there's anything else you'd like to add.
I liked a lot of the gore. The gore was pretty good at times.
Yeah.
I forget who it was, but someone like crushed someone's face.
Oh,
like,
when
their
Odorous,
hands.
like, and he's like squishy.
Yeah.
Squishy.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was probably the best gore in the movie.
Oh, there's a couple good ones when Sleazy sticks the dude in the eye with the switchblade.
That was pretty good too, yeah.
Because it was in the strobe light, which helped like hide probably any of the weirdness of it.
Yeah.
Sexecutioner ripping open that head was pretty good.
That was good too. Yeah, I like that. I love that part when it cuts to Beefcake and he's like, what does he say? He says like, delicious or something like that.
Beefcake has some pretty funny lines in this.
Yeah.
I do like it. Definitely more of the clown character.
Yeah.
Lots of good physical comedy acting from Beefcake.
Yeah. I mean, what I like about this movie a lot is that you can tell it's a lot of funny guys. All the members, you can tell they're all funny guys.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone surrounding them are really funny people. And you can tell something like this was just a fun idea that they had. They had just enough money to do it. They had just enough time. And
Allegedly, I'm going to say,
okay,
from what I read on Wikipedia, that this was intended to get released in theaters.
what?
And the MPAA was like, this is NC-17, and there's no way you can cut this to an R rating.
That's NC-17. That is not NC-17.
It's a matter of content. I don't know how this would go now. I mean, you can definitely show more penises and things in movies these days.
Yeah.
It's just the MPA now as of recent, but I feel like they probably still are trouble, but also I feel like they've lightened up.
Definitely.
Years.
Yeah.
So that's good, I guess. But I don't know.
But yeah, overall, I'd say that, well, it's hard to say movie to this because it doesn't really feel like one. It feels like a special.
It kind of is, yeah.
It's like a GWAR special. There's a loose, very loose plot, just connecting set pieces and funny bits. But overall, I would say this is a movie. It's fun.
Yeah, I'd say it's a movie too. You know, it's the same for the same reasons. I wouldn't call it a special, but I don't think you're wrong with that. It's it never feels like a traditional movie.
Yeah.
It's more of a, when this was out, you would get it where the music videos would be located in your local music store.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't get it at the movie store. It would be in a music store. So it felt more like a fun departure because normally before that they had released a couple of just them live concert things. And maybe with like a bit or something thrown in there. I mean, I guess Phallus in Wonderland is a lot like this. Just feels a little bit less coherent, if that's even believable, I guess. But this one's definitely, I feel, better quality. So there's that. I mean, they definitely learned over time.
Yeah.
There's not any like super horrible blue screen in this one. Some really, but yeah, they never really did anything like this afterward, except for It's Sleazy, where Sleazy P. Martini has a Jerry Springer style talk show, which is pretty fun. I have that one on VHS as well. I did lend it to a friend, and he had another coworker sit down with them, and they went to watch it, and they only made it so far in, and it wasn't very far, and they got too grossed out.
Weak.
Yeah. And they were like, what did you make us watch? And they never looked at me the same ever again. But yeah, It's Sleazy's pretty fun. It's a lot of like just people in the audience wearing fun character masks from shows and stuff. And then it's kind of like a GWAR show within that premise, because, you know, they'll like play songs. They fight the Jaeger monster and that, which is pretty fun. I don't know if you've ever seen that one, but
sounds really familiar.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's kind of like a jackalope creature that squirts Jägermeister out of it. Fun stuff. I recommend that as a viewing as well. I recommend this movie if, you know, if you watch it with someone else. Probably not the most fun watch by yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't go into it expecting a lot of story or anything. I mean, we probably did a terrible job describing it. Don't care.
Whatever.
Because if you heard me say that, sucker, you made it all the way through this, and we spent more time talking about it than the actual movie itself.
Yeah. Which, yeah, the movie isn't very long.
No. Yeah, it's about an hour, I'd say. I think the tube thing. Also, stay tuned after the credits.
Yeah.
Because there's a bit.
There is an MCU post-credit scene.
That's right.
Surprisingly.
So we all know where they got it from.
Mm-hmm. They stole from GWAR.
As all things are.
Yes.
All great things are stolen from GWAR. So give them your money. Sacrifice yourself to GWAR. See them live in concert.
Yeah.
If you've survived as many times as I have, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why I don't get killed. Plenty of people do.
I'm 8 concerts deep. I still haven't been killed. What a shame. To be sacrificed by GWAR.
Yeah, well, you know what? Maybe, you know, it's like what that guy says in the Cabinet of Curiosities episode we watched, where life is just a conveyor belt.
Yeah.
All leading to the same destination, and it's just a matter of what time you fall off.
What time do you get to Slave Pit and get sacrificed?
That's right. Because they even said, perhaps there's 2 world maggots.
Yeah.
Gonna take a while to get all those souls built up. But that's all I have for it.
Well, Dad, do you want to lock plasma turrets on target?
Speaking of which, lock your plasma turret on TeePublic.
Oh!
Get yourself a cool t-shirt. Because we got them. Contact us. Let us know what your favorite GWAR album is.
Yeah.
There's a couple ways to do it. You could start off by sending us an email.
Where would that be at?
corruptedyouthpod@gmail.com. Come. Join us in the Dongle Den. Show us some memes. Come on. Bring your memes.
It's mostly cool people there.
Yeah. Only the coolest. You want to be cool, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Cool like us.
Yeah, snort some Dongle Den on Facebook. You want to get high, don't you? Thanks to our listeners, the Dongles.
That's you guys.
Yeah, you're listening right now.
Yeah, if you're hearing this, you're a dongle.
It's already too late.
Yeah, no going back.
Nope, you're already there. And other than that, thanks to our fellow podcasters for your support. Hang in there, Dongles. Bye.
Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth!
Fuck y'all!